What up, y'all? It's your girl, Misbehavior, aka Willow Bean. You know me, you know what I do. Today is another episode of Fresh Friday. And of course, I'm rocking some new merch. This is my I Am Enough floral joint by my No Shenanigans apparel brand. Basically, it's where sarcasm meets fashion. But yo, let's get down to business. So, I've been, emotional roller coaster all week, but I was listening to a podcast earlier this week. Shout out to Brittany for this. But I was listening to a podcast, just kind of, looking for my mojo. And she was talking about how to put God first. And I'm like, man. So I'm sitting on my futon. I'm like, God, like, what should I talk about today? And I promise you, I have been like toiling with different idea concepts for today because I wanted the message today to be just something like that really hits home for me. And I wanted to start with like, a quote by Les Brown, which is, if you do what is easy, life will be hard. If you do what is hard, life will be easy. But I was like, nah, I need something more like authentic. Then I was thinking, I can do my authentic self. But I'm like, man, how will we get to the root of that? And I saw this post by Carmen. Oh my gosh, Carmen, shout out to Carmen. It's basically talking about be yourself. And I'm like, boop, 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 light bulb. So, which is why I got on my shirt, I Am Enough. So, here it comes, short stories. Today's topic is be yourself. So, short stories coming in 3, 2, 1, here we go. So, I am the youngest of 3 daughters. Is L Boogie, well, it's Lauren, it's Morgan, then it's me, right? As the youngest, I have always been identified as my older sister's sister. For example, I remember I was at work one day and this parent walked up to me and was just like, you gotta be Morgan's sister. Maybe? What's up? Because you never know how that's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Morgan is quite the feisty one. So I'm just like, yo, so what's up? What's good? Like, she's like, nah, you just look a lot like her. I'm like, oh yeah, well, that's my older sister. Or when we were in church, shout out to the Tabernacle. Oh, what's up, little Lauren? So I can't have my own identity. Now I gotta put it out there. Lauren is 7 years older than me, and Morgan is 3 years older than me. So for Lauren's age group of friends, like I'm the baby. Oh, so I'm everybody's baby. With Morgan's group of friends, I'm like, oh, you're like her mini me. So I had no identity for the longest time of my life until your girl hit high school. So your girl hits high school and I started playing ball, and I'm telling you, basketball had just changed my life in so many phenomenal ways. Initially, as an 8th grader, I started playing softball, and my identity was basically tied to Morgan because she played softball. Her number was 8, so I was like, yo, I'm gonna be better than my sister. My number would be 16. That didn't last long because I don't think I played softball past my freshman year. Then it was, okay, well, I'm number 50, which was Sheena's number. Shout out to Sheena. But that was her JV number. So, of course, they're calling me Lil Friffy. I'm like, oh, man, I can't never have my own identity. It wasn't until like maybe my sophomore year when we went into, it had to be my sophomore year, 2003. When we were the state semifinalists, like that's when my own identity began to emerge because I was a rising junior. So you talk about someone who goes from like the end of the bench to like the start lineup. I'm identified. My identity. I am who I am at that point. So I am the defensive specialist. Oh, we locking down on defense. We blocking shots. I'm getting rebounds. Like that's my job. That is my identity. I couldn't be like every other post player who might have had a drop step or a 15-footer shot. My identity being me, we snatching rebounds. We locking it down on D. You know what I'm saying? I'm kicking it out to the guard. I'm running the floor for the easy layup. That's what we doing. So fast forward, who am I now? I don't know if y'all watched like a couple videos back. Like, man, I'm talking about like how gifted I was and how many different gifts that I have. I'm talented. Like I create music, I draw, I do poetry, I create shirts, logos. I mean, there's like a infinite number of things that I do. I coach basketball. I'm a life coach. So there's so many areas of my life. But the thing that hit me today was there is only one Willow. I mean, of course, you got Willow Smith, but there is only one Willona. And with there being only one me, no one else can define how I'm supposed to be or what I'm supposed to do. Now, I did get into, a couple controversial conversations. This sun is like baking. I've been inside all day. It's like baking my arm, and I got on black. What? My shorts are great, but I got on black. So I got into like a controversial conversation about God and lifestyles and things like that. My thing is this. I would never impose my religious beliefs on anybody. My relationship with God is going to look different than somebody else's relationship with God, right? So here's a short story with that. In my early 20s, I had a struggle finding out my own path with God because I was trying to mimic what I saw in the church. I've been out of church for maybe like most of my college years, the last 5 years out of the church, and then I finally entered the church. I really was trying to find my identity in church, but it ended up backfiring a little bit because I still wasn't being my authentic self. I still wasn't being true to myself. So it took me, I would say until most recently, the whole bout with depression and everything, it took me to get through a lot of emotional ups and downs to figure out who I really am. And who I am is not categorized by what I do. A lot of people try to identify themselves by what they do. But at the simplest, like at the root thing, like, I'm a child of God. I got that from Oprah. Like she said, at the root, at the core, she could do all these amazing things, but like at the root, I'm a child of God. And then from there, everything else expands. So, I am a child of God. I'm gifted and I'm talented. But what about people who don't know who they are? I can tell you right now, finding out who you are is a tough journey because for me, I identify who I was based on the praise I was given by other people. Like other people say, oh, you're such a good ball player. So I identified myself with basketball for a very long time. Or, oh, your rap, you sound like this artist, that artist. And, for a while, I identified myself as my music. Or, my apparel, like I identify myself as my brand. But I think it was even bigger than that. Like when I talk about being myself or you being yourself, those are your different attributes. You're a beautiful creation. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we skip that whole part because we want to acknowledge everybody's, gifts. But I feel like at our core, I am human. And remembering that I am human, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not going to be identical to anybody else. It's kind of like our fingerprints. My fingerprints are going to be different from your fingerprints. That's what makes me unique. My goal is to leave an imprint on the world. And my imprint is every aspect of me. Not just me being a child of God, but what I'm doing. And that brings me to my final point. Beyonce, she did this song, I Was Here. And I don't know if a lot of people heard it on one of her albums. This was a while ago, but she talked about she wanted to like live every day to the fullest. And she wanted to leave an imprint on the world so massive that people would know that she was here even long after she's gone. And I would be honest, when you look at Beyonce, the things that she's accomplished, man, she's like that girl. She's very iconic because with everything that has gone on with her life, from her going from Destiny's Child to a single artist to marrying her husband, at the end of it all, she still has had her own identity. That's B. That's Beyonce. She's the queen. So many people identify her as that. And I think that's what it is. Like, you want to have your own identity. You don't want to mimic somebody else because when you mimic somebody else, like, how good are you? And I'll leave you with this last short story. I can remember a time where I wanted so bad to be like Lisa Leslie. We're both tall, dark skinned, athletic, but she's 6'5". I'm 6 feet. You know, it's a huge height difference when you're playing basketball. And I can remember mimicking her moves. Like I copied down, you know, her spin move to the post. I copied down that 15-foot jumper. You know what I'm saying? I copied the drop step. I copied, you know, that running dunk. Like I copied all of that, right? But it kind of got to a place where I had to identify what are my moves, what am I good at, what are my specialties, and that's where I began to like walk in my truth and walk in my realness. And that's what I want for you all. Just walk in your truth and walk in your realness. It's okay to have role models. It's okay to look up to people, because I look up to my siblings. But at the end of the day, who are you and what do you want to leave as your impact on this earth? So I'm going to leave you with that. I know it was a mouthful, but I really just want to thank all y'all for watching today. Today, you know, they opened up everything. I don't know if I'm going to be outside too long because, you know, it's about to get real ignorant. But yeah, that's me. That's my time. It's your girl, Miss Behavior, Willow Bean. Two of these. Have a great weekend. Peace.